What is up, guys? Zan from the February Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the latest title update and whether or not Cover 3 actually got better. But before we get into the video, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys take the time to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads coming your way here on the February Madden YouTube channel. If you guys want to take your game to the next level in Madden 21, check out my strategy site, gridirongameplans.gg. Gridiron Game Plans is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault update, we take a look at the meta, or the most effective tactics available being used by pro players on the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, how you can counter those metas when you face them in online gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every offensive and defensive game plan released on the website while your subscription is active. So head over to gridirongameplans.gg. $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website. Okay, guys, let's get into today's video. We're going to be talking about the Cover 3 defense and what changes, if any, are occurring out there in the community. Now, a lot of players are saying that Cover 3 is bomb-proof. I'm not so convinced that that is the case. I think a lot of players are looking at the meta setup for clear out flanker in, which was actually my favorite play early on in the year. If you guys go back to my Washington football team offense on the website that I released back in September, I said that this was the best bunch play in the game. And, you know, it started to catch on there in January once some other pros started running it. And also a variation that is a similar setup out of the play Jets Dig in the Jets playbook because of this fade route. And this fade route is notorious for getting wide open over the top against Cover 3. So you see here, if you put a slant on the backside and then you have this corner route in a game doesn't actually pull down the outside third. In practice mode, it does. And you see right here that this is kind of like the half response that it gives. I could assure you that in a game, if you snap this ball, this corner route will not pull this guy right here. You see in practice mode, it kind of tricks you into thinking that this throw is going to be open over the top for the one-play score. It is truly not. What you end up with is this guy reacting to the fade the entire way in an actual game scenario. So this route combination is what everyone is saying got killed. So what we're going to do here is kind of break down like what has happened to Cover 3 this year. What has happened with this most recent title update and how can we take advantage of it? Well, the simple rule is this. If you have a streak out of a compression set, an outside third is going to just like glue to it. And it's going to leave the sideline so open. If you were to ask me, was this patch necessary for Cover 3? I would have told you a million times no. I think that players are stubborn. They don't like to adjust deep halving to stop some of these outside pass leads over the top of an outside third that gets pulled down, changing your zone. Now, all of a sudden, we're in a spot where our outside thirds are going to drift inside to the seam and leave so much terrain open on the sideline. Let's take, for instance, a route combo that didn't used to work against Cover 3. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose the play Z-Spot, if I can find it. Z-Spot and Go would work just fine as well. So let me go ahead and call Cover 3 here. And I'm going to show you a route combo that basically did not used to work against Cover 3. And that would be to put the outside receiver on a streak or a fade, and then have this corner route that you could smart route or leave the same, and then having a flat. Now, there's another meta setup for this play. We'll get to that in a second. But basically, what you would end up with is this fade was not going to run off the outside third. It would kind of run, and then the outside third would trade it off to the safety in the middle third, which is this player, Adams. Now, what we get is this bracket logic where instead of this player running with the fade and then peeling back out to the corner and passing off the fade to Adams right here, what you're going to get now is both players drifting on this fade all the way back into this area, leaving our corner route to Godwin open underneath. So now what happens is if you have a streak at all on this play, what ends up happening is now your purple zones are responsible for corner routes. Whereas the outside third at least could sometimes play corner routes depending on the route combination. Now we don't have that option anymore. So we snap this ball here. You're going to see, watch the runoff. You see how he just continues to kind of play that depth, and it's going to leave this sideline open underneath. Now, I moved guys around quite a bit there. Let me go ahead and audible into another cover 3 here. I'm just going through random formations with cover 3. But let's just go ahead and show you, like if we were to run it this way. Again, B's going to get in the seam. He's going to pull his guy out there, and now all of a sudden the sideline's wide open. I'm telling you, the outside receiver on that streak did not used to work that way. It used to get passed off to the safety, and the corner would kind of look at that Z-spot corner route. And unfortunately, now we don't have that luxury anymore. So that is the biggest change that you're going to see right now in cover 3, is that a streak out of bunch is going to just absolutely open up the entire sideline. This is going to make pretty much every single corner route in bunch viable. So let me go ahead and say, like if I were to play cover 3 sky drop again here, I go ahead and streak Godwin. This is a popular setup right now. Godwin is going to eat up that outside third, and just look at how much room. I mean, I could pass lead this up and rack it for like 45 yards with this tight end. Whereas in the past, an outside third might give that catch up, but it would only be giving it up for 25 or 30 yards if you didn't have an underneath zone drop set. This is, in my opinion, really bad for the game. Really, really bad for the game. They made a change to take away basically one route combination that opened up so much more underneath, and it didn't really take away that route combination. I know I showed you that it was halfway covered, and I talked about how in a game it gets covered. I'm telling you, it did not take away that route combination. I actually broke it down in the vault that just got released today, February the 3rd, 2021. If you guys are watching later on, you can go back and check out the vault on Gridiron and go back to that tip. But I'm telling you, they did not actually patch the one-play score formulas with this. The one-play scores are still there, and now there's about 20 yards more sideline that we have to worry about. What if we shade into cloud flats? So watch, right bumper is going to pull everyone. Why don't we just go ahead and rack this up the field? And actually, if I actually have any stick work there, that's a catch. Let's go ahead and do it again. Sorry about that. So we get the shade down, shade up. And now Gronk is just going to eat this up. I mean, you could even almost outflank these thirds on the rat catch if there's no zone drop set. Now let's go in and talk about the zone drops, obviously. Like if I go and set, sorry about that, shows random play. Let me go ahead and just reset here. If we set our zone drops to 20 or 25, we already know that, especially in cover 3, one of the biggest things that players used to do is they would set up kind of like a Mabel, right? Maybe like a, mainly you would see something like this, like a 5 and then like a 25 Mabel. One of the most popular Mabel profiles in the game is to have the 5 and 25. Well, let's go ahead and show you what that looks like now. So we go back into bunch. Let's just choose that bench pivot again. We actually are going to put Z spot in our audible so we can just go between the two. So let's run bench pivot. So what you might have seen before this title update would have looked something like this. You would have, a 5-yard zone, a 25-yard zone, and an outside third. Then a deep third over the top. Or a deep half over the top if you're worried about getting beat for a one-play score. Now what we're going to end up with this 525 Mabel is potentially, if Gronk stays running, this corner route does stop. But if this route keeps running, he's going to get over the top of a 25-yard setting. You see here how I can throw that ball clean over the top of him because of that outside third now drifting in to cover the streak. There is so much more room now on the sideline as a result of this change. Again, just look how he is. This is exactly my issue. Look at this route right here. You've got a route running into the middle third of the field. Why does 26 need to bracket that route and completely ignore the fact that he's got a route entering his deep third, and it puts him in no man's land? Want to see another really easy example? What if we were to play a 525 Mabel with cover 3, and I run the play, and actually I don't have it. Let me just go back in and I'll call the play verticals. Another really easy example of why this is bad. So we call the play verticals. And go right back to cover 3 sky. So we got our 525 Mabel. What if we just do something quite literally that looks like, let me think here. What if we do something that just looks like this? Just a streak in a wheel. And then I've got a fade stop and a drag for a curl flat on the backside. Provided our protection stays, I'm going to spy off the pass rush here. Here's our 525 Mabel with spies. We're going to just look at the 7-on-7. Outside third is going to get cooked by this wheel now as it clears behind the 25-yard setting. This was not something you used to be able to do against cover 3. This wheel route would turn up the sideline and he would pay attention to it. Now he has attention to stack this player who's already in the middle third grid, because EA went in and they were nervous about any time he had affinity for this route underneath, this area of the field would be open over the top for an outside pass lead. So now he's stacking the verticality of the deepest route on his side of the field, even if it's in the seam, and giving up everything on the sideline. And you see just how much room there is to fit this throw over the top of a 25-yard cloud flat on a wheel. The list goes on and on. If I were to go into Z-spot, go ahead and show you again here. Go back to the 525 Mabel. Again, the cover 3 with this profile would have stopped. I mean, this zone profile right here with a 525 and a third would have stopped this route combination as of yesterday. But now it doesn't have a shot. We're picking up 35, 40 yards on that throw now, instead of only picking up 25 if it beats a cloud flat. That's dropped to 25 yards. We're talking 35, 40 yards instead of 25 or 30 yards. So now we have so much more of a responsibility for our underneath zones. So we take a look here. Now, guys, if you guys are enjoying the video, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, make sure you guys hit that subscribe and check out Gridiron Game Plans if you're enjoying these breakdowns. We go into far more detail on the website than we do right here, so I hope you're enjoying the video. But if we set our stuff to 30 now all of a sudden we've got a ton of room, 25 yards on our Mabel in between. So let's go ahead and say, let's go with a 530 Mabel out of cover 3. Go into that same play again. So now we know that we've got them worried like hell about Z-spot, right? So here's your 525 third that I just showed can beat the 530 in a third. We just showed that this could beat the 525 in a third. Let's show you the 530 now. So he's going to run and run and run and run and run. And a 30-yard zone doesn't get there either. So now we're in a lot of trouble. If the zone drops can't get back underneath that route, this is going to start to feel a little bit like Madden 20, where those corner routes are just eating on the sideline over and over and over again. And you also factor in that, let's say that they are setting the 30-yard zone. Now all of a sudden we're in a spot where the intermediate sideline is a problem. So now we got this 30-yard zone. Well, I mean, what's to stop me from throwing this ball out here underneath of it right here? And if you have matchup nightmare or any of those abilities on your tight end, and that's a linebacker drop into that, that's gonna be a catch. Or if you have deep out elite on your tight end, which actually just got buffed. All those catch elites just got buffed in the most recent title update as well. So now you're gonna actually hold on to the ball in the middle of the field, and we're having issues with where players are playing. I understand the logic of why they did this in cover 3. If I were to audible out into 4 verticals, the rules of cover 3, I reset my play here, default drops here. The rule of this player in cover 3 technically is if your guy runs vertical and the slot runs vertical, he kind of drops inside, splitting the difference, trying to peek and drive on a seam route to the inside. But he's also in a position that if they throw the ball to the outside, he can get back to the outside as well on this drop. So I understand the logic of an outside third being able to peek inside at number 2 in the seam. But now this is a little bit too much. It's a little bit too much because we're going to have so much room wide open on the sideline now that any corner in the game darn near is going to be able to beat that. I mean, let's go ahead and audible out into like a spread here. So I'm going to call like let's go with a 30-yard zone here. I'm not sure if this will work out of Y trips, but let me audible into gun Y trips and just set up something. We're going to have, let's go ahead and put Gronk on this corner route. Go with a flat. So like a sail concept right here. Street corner and a flat. You're going to have those zones set so deep now that a traditional tight end angle is going to get, or a tight end corner is going to get wide open. What about this? What if they're doing 25, or I'm sorry, a third and a 30 out here? You could do this now at a bunch. You could literally create any corner route you want in the game, and it's going to be a good route combination against zone if you're running compression. I mean, look at this. I mean, it's just right here on the sideline if you're patient enough. You know, and like I said, if you've got a 30-yard setting here, it doesn't matter because I can still go to the best corner in the game, which is the Z-spot corner, smart route it, and run off the coverage here with the B or even the A receiver. I mean, look at this right here. Look at this situation where the tight end is going to run the streak. This is the way that's probably the most meta in the game. You see how that outside third is running to the tight end now? It makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. So for me, pound for pound, this is one of the worst zone changes that they could have made. I think that if people were really struggling with throws over the top, the deep half has always been the way to go to beat the one-play scores. And now we're in a spot where outside thirds are going to not really play corner routes. So where does that leave us? That leaves us with outside quarter zones instead of outside thirds. And those honestly can get beat by one-play scores over the top too. So we're in a damned if we do and damned if we don't situation. The change really didn't change the way that you bomb cover 3. It made the sidelines in cover 3 so much weaker. The zone drops really can't handle some of the corner routes that are popular right now. And the answer to those corner routes is a zone that reverts back to the original situation of being able to bomb the cover 3 or an outside third because they drop more slowly. So what really did this patch do for cover 3? I'd argue that it took away maybe one play and it did a halfway. It wasn't even successful. It wasn't half successful. You could still bomb out of that play. Again, you could check it out on Gridiron. I just put an update out on it. But what that patch was designed to do was take away really one play. One play that, you know, I was running from day one. Skimbo started running on Twitch, and it gained popularity. So naturally, it was like, let's patch it. Well, the answer to that was honestly, arguably, in my opinion, the worst zone patch ever. Not that I don't have answers. I definitely have still one of the best zone players out there because most players run man-to-man, and I've been running zone all year. And we'll get over it on the website as well. But what they did is they made the lives of anybody out there that wants to run zone so much more difficult than it needed to be, all because players didn't want to deep half to prevent from getting beat over the top with a one-play score. So that is today's video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, taking a look at the patch. Let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Please head over to gridirongameplans.gg. Lots of great content on the website. Like I said, just put up a new vault update today if you're watching this when it just dropped. And I also have plans to work on not only a new offense, but I'm also in the works on a new defensive game plan on the website as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Regular vault updates every single week on Gridiron, and going to be pushing out some new game plans in the not too distant future. Hopefully see you guys on the website. If not, we'll see you guys here with our next video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.